Well, good morning. Today is Friday, February. Jeez, I wish it was February because, well, no, not really, because it wouldn't be as nice as it is today. Today is March 15th, the Ides of March. Um, it's pretty nice. It's 43 degrees. We're supposed to get more rain today, but see, I don't even have to have my hood up because it's not that cold. It's kind of nice. I do have a sweatshirt on though, but that's just part of my attire for the winter because it's still officially winter until next week. It is now that I'm standing out. It's a little breezy, so I might be putting the hood up when I'm walking. But so far, not so bad. When I was laying in bed this morning before I got up, I was going in Facebook and things like that, looking at different things, and I saw that quote from Sylvester. I love Sylvester and Tweety too. All the cartoons of my childhood. But I saw that and it reminded me, like I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. And like I said, and it begins today because I'm just continuing on because this is the start of my weekend. I always do well on Fridays. It's Saturdays after I get weighed that I tend to have my problems. And I didn't do bad last Saturday because it's, I'm fasting for Lent, but I think I slipped up a little bit on Sunday. I'd have to go back and look, but I think I slipped up a little bit on Sunday. But I did well Monday through Saturday, and that's my plan to do that. Well, when you tape on your phone, those things happen. Sorry! Anyway, I think I slipped up a little bit on Sunday. But I'm not going to do that anymore. So, I'm going to start today and stay on track. But I was going through my comments, and I had to write them down. But one of the things that I did find... I was looking for a scrap piece of paper to write my comments on, and I saw this quote, and I thought, all the more reason to use Sylvester at the beginning. The secret to getting ahead is to just get started. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't make a move. So these are 5 questions, too. I don't know, I must have done them in the past. So I'm going to ask you these 5 questions, and you can pick or choose, or you can answer all 5, or you can pick or choose one of the 5, and let me know what your answer is. I don't even remember if I've ever done this, but number 1, the thing I'm most proud of what I did. I think become a pretty good, I'm going to say a damn good grandma, because I think I'm a damn good grandma. My grandmother's, my one grandmother, by the time I came along, I've said this before, I think I was like the 65th grandchild. Old news. Go away. Leave me alone. Yeah, you're cute. There's 64 before you. Whatever. And then my other grandmother lived in Boston, and I never saw her. She'd always send us stuff. We look forward to it every Christmas, and then she'd always send us stuff that didn't fit. But it's just the fact that back then it was a big deal when the UPS guy came to your door. Well, I think it was just the mailman. I don't think they had UPS. But he came with the package that you had to sign for, and then we'd open it up, and they'd all be wrapped, and we'd put them under the tree. And we'd look forward to opening them, and knowing full well they weren't going to fit, or we wouldn't like them. But it didn't matter. It was the thought. Number 2, the thing I'm most proud of that I didn't do, I didn't give up, because there's been many a time on this road that I wanted to give up, trust me, recently even, that I wanted to just give up, but I'm really proud of the fact that I stuck with it. The year I took more control over my life, December 31st, 2016. It's the day I joined Weight Watchers, and it's the best day of my life so far weight-wise because I'm really determined and I'm just going to stick with it till I get to my goal, and I'm never, and I can say that because I'm never going to put this weight back on. And I know people out there that have lost their weight and put it back on, but I think they were younger. I'm old enough now to know, and I always say this, and I know it's gross, but I only want 6 people carrying my coffin. I don't want 8 or 10, and I don't want people saying, no, that's okay, I know it's an honor, but I pass. That's going to be too heavy of a coffin. I don't want that. I want people, saying, I want to carry that coffin. I know, morbid thought. It's just where my mind goes. I can't help it. This year, my confidence grew in this area. I had a pretty good confidence level, but I would say the year my confidence really grew would be 1986, when I overcame my fear of being alone, going out anywhere by myself, and just getting a job where I had to do something on my own and not depend on somebody driving me there. It was the year my whole life changed. The easiest thing about this year, the easiest thing about this year. I don't know, this year's been pretty easy for me to stay on track. It really has. I can't think that there's one thing that's easier than another. But anyway, I wanted to comment I made some comments. Carmen Piper said that she slices up her apple and puts cinnamon on it. And I think she said nutmeg, I think. My mother used to make a baked apple, and she would like core out the middle of the apple, and then she'd sprinkle, the cinnamon, and then she'd bake it in the oven and have like a little baked apple. And I love the smell of apple pie. I'm not a big fan of apple pie. I'll eat an apple pie. Like if I have my choice, it doesn't, turtle cake. That's my problem. Brandy Marks wanted to know the name of the place that I worked at was a bookbinding place. I really don't remember. It was back in 1974, and I only worked there for 3 weeks. And I think I got paid under the table. I didn't even get a check, so I don't remember. Vicky from Minnesota to Florida, she said she loves my music when I turn the car on. That station used to be just a 60s music station, and I loved it. But then, like as you get older and older and older, they changed the music format, because people like nowadays don't want to listen to 60s music. They want to listen to 80s music, which I do like. I do like 80s music. But it kind of reminds me of, not to get political, it's just a thought that I have, and it's not, I don't feel that it's a political statement, because I don't like to be political. But I find it ironic that the older senators that are like my age are so upset at the younger senators like AOC and the younger ones that are in there, because they have such radical ideas. And I'm thinking that the people my age have forgotten about the 60s, when we were protesting everything. The war, the government, the draft. We were doing everything. So now, what, turn around, come around. Turn around's fair play, come around, fair play. Whatever, you know what I mean. So it's just kind of, I think, ironic, because they were like, the establishment was, like the bad thing. And now we're the establishment. So that's just my thought on that. I could be wrong. Who's to know? Look, see, I know I'm not, because see how easily that word came out of my mouth? And, like if I said I was, that doesn't come out. But, I could have been wrong. I can say that. Because there's a slight chance that I wasn't. Okay, Amanda, I'm going to screw up your name. Amanda Tishhart wants to know how I can only eat 2 meals a day. She'd be starving. I drink a lot of water, so a little breezy. I drink a lot of water, and I think that makes a difference. Now, I've already drank 16 ounces of water before I've even gone for my walk. When I get back, I'm going to drink another 34. I drink 16 ounces at my 2 meals, so that's another 32. And then I drink at least 16 at night before I go to bed. I'm pretty good about, I go to bed about 2:30, and I usually don't get up to go to the bathroom until about 8. But I go back to bed. Don't get me wrong, I do go back to bed. Tamsin Darlin said that she loved the Montgomery Ward music. If you worked there all day, you wouldn't have loved it, because it's on a loop. You only had to hear it for the maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes you were in the store. I got to hear it, the 45-minute loop, and then the 45-minute loop, and then the 45-minute loop, all day long. And she remembers the Christmas trees where you had the aluminum trees, and then they shined the lights. My mother had one of those trees. I hated. That was my worst tree that I always hated. It was just so ugly. I hated that. And she was thankful because with the storms that were going through in Kentucky, her house was built in 1850. Oh my gosh. My sister would love to go through your house. It's just like she loves antique, as we call it. I know, antique. But that has to be pretty cool to have a house that old. And still standing. That's even better. Patricia McLaughlin's coming over, and she's going to Florida, and she's looking forward to getting the Weight Watcher foods. Hopefully you just stick with the Weight Watcher foods and don't eat our Twinkies and stuff like that, because that's where Americans are like. Smack Vision said that she's very grateful for everybody coming over. If you haven't gone over to her channel, it's SMAC Vision. They're hilarious. I sent them an email trying to help them out a little bit to get them started. Not that I'm all that great. I'm not saying that I am, but I think that they're just so down to earth. They just really are, and I just love their channel. Diana Cross and Anita over at Chit Chat Paddywhack said their husbands laugh when they watch them watching the show, my show. Like, da da da, it's the Sandy Show. Here she comes. HR puffin stuff. Remember that one? Okay. Anyway, yeah, I try to be silly. I don't know. I think it's just it comes natural to me. I don't know. I've had many people tell me in my life, I tell a good story, I don't see it. I really don't. I've had many people say I should write a book. I'm not that talented. I have many people say I should be a stand-up comedian. I don't think I'm funny. I really don't. And I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm not. I just really am not. This is who I am. This is how my family is. I don't know. So that's just the way I think. Okay. Enough babbling. How long have I been babbling on? Well, at least 9 minutes here, and then who knows how long before. I don't know. But let's go for our walk, because it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? I know. Here he comes to save the day. That means that Mighty Mouse is on his way. Okay, as you see, I put my hood up because it is windier out here than I thought. And it's drizzling a little bit. The rain wasn't supposed to come to this afternoon, but at least I got it in. Look, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's buds on the tree. That means spring is not far behind. Okay, we're home. I walked about 2 miles today. I increased it a little bit. At some points the wind gust kind of stopped me in my tracks, but it didn't stop me from walking. I'm gonna go in and drink my water and get on with my plan for the day. I think I'm gonna have a bowl of oatmeal and my fruit platter and a cup of tea. And for dinner, I'm gonna have my tuna sandwich with a cucumber and tomatoes and maybe some cottage cheese and pineapple. We'll see. But that's all I'm having today because it's Friday. I really try to fast a little bit more on Fridays all throughout the year, but especially during Lent. So, okay, let's go in the house. See, I got my gloves on because it's cold. It's not cold, but colder than I thought. Well, I realized I didn't answer all of the comments. I had them on the piece of paper, see? And I didn't answer them all. I got distracted, I guess. Diane Cross wanted to know my job descriptions. When I worked at Montgomery Wards, I started just as a sales clerk in the men's department, and from that I got transferred to, like promoted type of thing, to working at customer service, and then from customer service I went to the switchboard operator, and from the switchboard operator I went to VCB, which is vendor chargeback, which is when you bring something back and it's damaged. I was responsible for shipping it back to wherever it was supposed to go, you know, to get the store credit. And then from there, I became the manager of the men's department at my store and at 15 and Gratiot in Mount Clemens, Michigan. And then from there, I got promoted to the women's manager over at the Eastland store, which was in Harper Woods, Michigan. And then the company went out of business, and I worked for the liquidator, so I made a lot of money, a lot of money for a little bit of hours, because I basically only worked, no, literally, that's the one, Christy hates literally. But I worked maybe 5 hours a day, and I got a percentage of everything that they liquidated. So when it was all said and done, I worked there for like 5 weeks, and in 5 weeks, I think I made almost $10,000. So we remodeled our kitchen with the money that I got from that. And funny story, but when I worked at Montgomery Wards, another bathroom-related story, I went to, when I was working on the switchboard, we got a new assistant store manager. His name was Todd. I won't tell you his last name. But anyway, nobody liked him. But he came from West Virginia. Nothing against the West Virginia people, because I have people in West Virginia, and you know who you are, Don and Dexter and everybody else. There's a lot of you. I'm not going to name you all. But so I started naming some. I'm sorry, name dropper that I am. But anyway, if anybody travels with their work, because we found out with Jim too, because different states have different cost of living. And so what you might make in West Virginia is a lot of money, but then when you see something like in Michigan, you think, oh my gosh, well, this, I'm comparing it because he came from West Virginia. But when he came to Michigan and they offered him this big salary raise, he looked at the amount of money it was and he thought, oh my gosh, I have to take that promotion because that's a lot of money. Well, when he came to Michigan, he realized that that wasn't a lot of money. It was actually, he got a pay cut according to, you know, like cost of living and stuff. Like, I've heard that, I've never been there, but I've heard California is very high in cost of living, you know, so their wages kind of reflect it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He was always grumbling and griping because he wanted to go back to West Virginia. And I don't blame him because, you know, like, he took a pay loss. But anyway, once again, a bathroom issue, because I was on the switchboard and there weren't enough people trained to replace you on the switchboard if there was a problem. And being the assistant store manager, he knew all of the qualifications of all the jobs because, you know, that's part of the job. And I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And I asked him if he could take over the switchboard for me. And he said, no, you can't. I'm the assistant store manager. I'm not going to be the switchboard operator. And I says, it's just while I go to the bathroom. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You'll have to wait till someone comes. And so, like, I did one of these, you know, like rattling my leg and all that till somebody came along, and then I grabbed somebody, and then they took over the switchboard. And then when I came back at the end of my shift, I was so upset with them, and I went up to him and I told him, you know, I'm not a baby. I'm a grown-ass woman, and I know when I have to go to the bathroom, and I know if I can hold it or not, and I think that you were being rude. And he says, well, I don't know what the big deal is. You know, a monkey could handle that switchboard. I don't know why they're just so hard for you to find somebody to work it, because you know a monkey could do it. So, the next day, because they had a toy department at that place, I went and grabbed a monkey, a stuffed monkey from the toy department. And when I knew he was in his office and I knew that the switchboard would keep ringing and he'd have to come out and answer it, I put the monkey on the switchboard and I put the little headphones on the monkey. And then I went to the bathroom. And then when I came back, obviously he was sitting at the switchboard and he was pissed. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I guess that monkey doesn't know how to do the switchboard. I thought you said a monkey could do it. I got talked to. I didn't care. I was trying to make a point. And I made a point because, you know, he always made sure that I was relieved when I needed to be. So anyway, that was my story about that. Margaret C. said that she loved Susie Orman too, and she loved when she'd go, denied! I would watch that show and I would see, like, these people would say, well, I have $50,000 in my personal savings account and I have like $35,000 invested in this and I have $100,000 in my 401k and I want to spend $2,500 on this new skidoo. And she'd say, denied! And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have like $10 in my bank account and I'm thinking, what can I buy? What can I buy? But I always watched her because I liked her. I thought she gave good advice, not that I followed it. And then the last one is Barbara Pask. Wanted to know what my last job duties were. I started off working in the mail room, and then from the mail room they found out I had switchboard operations background, so I became the operator. And then from the operator, they had me doing the operator and doing the mail at the same time because the mail was dwindling. And then we got split and sold and, you know, moved around and moved here and there. And then I became a scanner. So what we would do is all of the strip malls would send us all of their bills for their, like, the electricity, the water, you know, their phone, different things like that. And all of our jobs went to India. So we would scan all of the paperwork, which was my job, to scan the paper, you know, prepare it and then scan it to India so that they could then pay the bills. The bad part about that was when this happened, all of this happened, there was 192 people employed at this company, and then it was acquired, and then most of the jobs were sent over to India. So we had people from India had to come here, and we had to train them, and part of the purpose of training them is if you didn't train them correctly, you didn't get your severance package. So there was quite a few bitter people. And of the 192 people, only 7 remained, and I was one of the 7. So I don't know if that was good or bad. But the Indians that came, I felt bad for them because, you know, people kind of resented them. And I didn't realize this till they came, is that in India, so many people speak different dialects, and they couldn't speak to each other unless they spoke to each other in English because that was the only thing they had in common. But there was one particular young man, and he used to love to go to McDonald's and get a hamburger, and he was eating them all the time. And so somebody had said to him, you know, I thought that in India the cow is sacred. And he says, oh yes it is, and we never eat cows. And they said, well, McDonald's hamburger, and hamburger is beef, and beef comes from a cow. He never had another hamburger after that. So, okay, I gotta get on with my day. Look, another 7 minutes. I'm gonna probably have to do more than one video. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'll talk to you guys. You know what? I'm just gonna do another video. I'm gonna put these two, I'm gonna loop the other part together, and I'll just do a what I ate for the rest of the day over a different one. So anyway, give this video a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and check back tonight. I'll have another video, because you know me, I can yak, 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 yak with the best of them.